I'm happy to be joined on Primetime Local News today by Jay Semko. Jay has a collection of poetry and lyrics coming out, kind of mixed together. Jay, thank you for speaking with us today.
Hey, Stacy, great to be here. Thanks.
Well, Jay, people will know you from your time with the Northern Pikes, continued time with the Northern Pikes, and you've done so many other projects as well. We've spoken to you about them before, but this is really a unique project. Tell me about this mix of poetry and lyrics that you're releasing together.
Well, it's a book, and in fact, I have my test copy here. There it is. It's called "The Poetry and Lyrics of Jay Semko," and which I guess really, I guess in a normal situation, it was if it was straight poetry, I would have called it probably named it after a poem or had a general title. But because it is a mix of lyrics from songs I've written over the years, as well as just standalone poems, between myself and the publisher, Wood Dragon Books, we thought, well, that's maybe the way to kind of do it. And people do kind of, I guess, know my name to a certain extent from other things I've done in music and those kind of things. So yeah, no, it's a compilation, but some of the poems are newer, and I guess the oldest stuff in there is probably from my first solo album, Mouse, that came out in 1995. So the the the, the song lyrics that are included in there are lyrics from my solo records, and a lot of them I've kind of had to adapt. So if somebody it knows the music and they read the lyrics along with it, they go, "Oh, this is a little different here," because I found out, which I do explain in the introduction, that sometimes things will sing. They'll sing a certain way when you hear it sung, and then when you physically read it, it looks a different way. So I had to find a way to kind of make it read a little bit smoother along the way.
Now, Jay, you were kind enough to give me a copy in advance to check it out, and I went through it last night, and it's really quite incredible, the mix that you have in there. There's some very, lighter poems and, talking about nature, but then there's some on the darker side too, and you haven't been shy about talking about your time in rehab and addiction, and there are some of the poems that address that as well. Was that a conscious thing to go out and make it a mix of this, or was it just, I like these poems and these lyrics, so I'm going to put them in?
I really didn't consciously do it. It was one of those things where I looked at the volume of poetry when I was all done, or with the ones that were being considered for the book, and I kind of discovered, wow, there's a lot of songs that are or poems that are quite personal about my experiences with mental health and addiction, and and I haven't really shied away from talking about that. And as I mentioned in the introduction to the book, I mean, I have found that people do really relate, and I found that they can be very much, at least if not helped, they can at least be to know that other people have experienced and are experiencing a lot of the same things. And yes, some of it's quite deeply personal, and I accept that, and I go, okay, well, that's what it is. I've always done that with my songs. I just lay it on the line. But when you've got songs, you've got, guitars and beats and melodies and things to kind of smooth your way through it along. So, but when you just write it down on the page, it's somewhat stark. I can't say fairly stark. It is stark sometimes. But I mean, I will say that I kept it pretty clean. I had I had a lot more objectionable language before we started editing, and that was a big, I have such an appreciation for anybody writing a book. And I mean, this is a compilation along with some newer poetry as well, and that was a huge task, and I've been working on this quite diligently for quite a while. And it was one of those things where I really have a new appreciation for somebody writing a novel or writing a nonfiction book. And although with poetry, I must say, it comes down to every word and every space and every letter really counts. It really does count, because it's sometimes very specific and sometimes very sparse. So it's been a great learning experience. I just feel really blessed that I'm able to continue expanding my creative boundaries and be able to share this with people. And I hope people get something good out of it. I hope, I hope they can. And yeah, some of the poems are very stark, and they do deal with, my experiences with mental health and addiction. And I'm hoping that by me talking about that, which I have in the past as well, that people will go, yeah, I felt like that too. And it's nice to know that somebody else is not afraid to put it down on paper, and we can read about it, and it can create some discussion about these things, and hopefully remove some stigma about that.
Well, Jay, this is a beautiful book, and you are going to be doing an online launch on the 27th tomorrow. So tell me about what's planned for that and how people can find this book if they want to order it.
Yeah, well, it's going to be on Zoom, and it's going to be with my publisher, and that's Jeannie Martinson from Wood Dragon Books, and we'll be doing kind of a Q&A interview thing, and we'll probably take some questions from people that might want to have them along the way, and I'll probably throw in a little bit of music, and if you've seen any of my online stuff that I've done, especially through the COVID era, it's pretty loose, and I kind of have a lot of I kind of like to have fun with it and leave it a little bit unscripted. In regards to getting the book, it will be available through any database in any of the bookstores, but it will be physically available. I know right away at McNally Robinson in Saskatoon and Penny University Books in Regina, and also through Kindle and ebook and Amazon and pretty much anywhere you can order the book. But like I say, there won't be that many copies in the major bookstores right now. Mainly, it's I'm a new poet, I'm a new author, and there's a lot of books in a lot of bookstores. So some will carry it right away, and I'll be posting information on my website, and that is www.jaysemko.com, jsemko.com, and there'll be information about how to get to the book launch and information about how to get the book if you want to get a copy.
Well, Jay, thank you so much for speaking with us, and congratulations! Just like an incredible book to go through, and looking at all you've accomplished over the years. So we wish you a lot of success, and I'm looking forward to the launch tomorrow.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you very much.